It's where you go to bike, hike, and stroll miles of pathways over more than 7,000 acres of parkland. A place to go explore rivers and fish their bountiful waters. Natural places to go marvel at magnificent wildlife while you play outdoors and go wander charming communities. Find all this and more at Destination Downriver. Give it a go.
Today's podcast is presented by MarketInsights.us, with the podcast on YouTube produced by the City of Taylor's Media Center.
Thank you to our team sponsor, Allegra, Marketing, Print, and Design. Let Allegra assist you with your print, mail, design, and signs. Located in Wyandotte, Michigan, or call 734-284-5330.
Welcome to Destination Downriver. I'm Karl Ziomek. One of the most popular locations in Taylor, the Heritage Park Petting Farm, expanded this summer. City officials celebrated a new pavilion and playscape in the far southwest corner of the farm property, located on the corner of Pardee and North Line Roads. The City of Taylor obtained a $500,000 state grant that funded the new playscape area and barn-like pavilion. The farm attracts thousands of visitors each year, whether it is through general traffic, private events like birthday parties, or public events like wild weekends or school visits, just to name a few. The petting farm is home to a full-size barn housing goats, sheep, alpacas, ponies, cows, donkeys, rabbits, chickens, and piglets. Guests can view and interact with the animals under the guidance of the staff. A large nature pond is also located behind the Welcome Center building. Well over 20,000 people visited the petting farm last year. It's a great place for young families to visit. Let's take a look at the petting farm with Petting Farm Operations Manager Allison Astorino. She'll be followed by an interview with Mayor Tim Wooley of the City of Taylor. We're here at the Heritage Park Petting Farm with Allison Astorino, the Petting Farm Manager. Allison, tell me, how long have you worked here for the City of Taylor?
I've worked here for 13 years now.
Okay, and what made your job attractive to you?
Obviously it's the animals. They're the best. It's like some of the best to work with them, to take care of them, to see them throughout their whole lives. So.
How long have you been the manager here?
About 3 years now.
Okay, already. What's the most popular part of the farm? That's probably a difficult question for you to answer, but I'm gonna hold you to it anyways.
All the different kinds of animals, but we also do special events. We do birthday parties. Our calendar books out pretty far in advance, so I think it's just a popular spot in general to come hang out, see some animals, and just have a nice day.
How many animals do you have?
A little over 100.
Okay. Anything, who are these guys behind us?
These are our rock stars. We have Elvis, Harry, and Bowie.
Oh, okay. Can you tell them apart? I take it you can. What are other animals here that are kind of on the top of the list when people come to see them?
Everyone loves Rosie, our cow. She's a big animal, so it's fun to see her. But a lot of the kids just come for the cats sometimes, and the rabbits, and everyone has a favorite goat or sheep. So,
what's the most difficult part of the job here?
It's just a lot of responsibility, keeping everyone safe and happy and healthy, but it's well worth it.
How do the new facilities here, the playscape and the pavilion, fit into the everyday activities here?
We're happy to have a picnic area, and the kids love having a playground. And as far as our events and our school tours go, we're really excited to utilize those new spaces for those things. So
they really help out?
Yep.
Any plans for the future when it comes to the petting farm? Anything that you can let us in on that's going to happen?
Nothing concrete yet. I mean, always looking to possibly expand and add more animals here, but we'll see how it goes.
Is it tough to add animals?
Yeah, it can be, just because you need space and the right kind of pen and housing for them. But if the opportunity presents itself, we'd be happy to have more.
This fall, what are you guys looking at as far as events that people can look forward to?
We have Wild Weekend this weekend, and then we have a trackless train ride later in September, and then in October we'll be doing some cider mill activities, pony rides, and a Halloween themed event.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That'll be nice. That'll be part of the Hollapalooza, I take it.
We do our own beforehand, but
Okay.
we participate in both.
Okay, alrighty. Okay, that's Allison Estorino here at for Destination Downriver here at the Heritage Park Petting Farm. Joining us now is Mayor Tim Wooley, a lifelong resident of Taylor, who was elected mayor back in 2021. Mayor Wooley's administration has committed more than $20 million in renovations to existing city facilities over the recent years. Tim, this petting farm is one of the gems in a park full of gems.
Yeah, you know, it's a lot of it's definitely a hidden secret, but it's a great thing because people are now finding out more and more about it, and it's something you don't see every day in a major city, you know. So people come and enjoy it, and as you can see, we're continuously trying to add to it and make it that much nicer, you know. So
yeah, I was going to ask you about these. We're inside the new pavilion.
Yep.
Okay, and storage area because there's a lot of hay stored in here. Next to us is the new playscape. How badly were these additions needed? What was your take?
Well, this specifically, you know, the hay storage. You know, a lot of times we would rent tractor trailers, you know, and we would store the hay in there. But if it was in there too long, it would cause the hay to go bad. So in a sense, we were wasting money a lot of times. So it was something that we were looking into. You know, to Guido's, and actually Senator Geis said, hey, you know, there's money available in parks, and Guido reached out to me and said, hey, you know, Mayor, we had been talking about doing this, and we can, with this kind of money, I think it was 400 and some thousand, we can do, and it was specifically for this, you know, we could use the hay storage barn, and we could tie it all in, we could add a playscape to it, and we made it to where, you know, it's got the overhang to where we could do, you know, private parties out front of it, you know, to where it's sheltered, and then it's right next to the playscape there, which turned out even nicer than what we imagined. So, which you can hear the kids out there playing on it right now.
Exactly.
So it's
exactly.
pretty nice.
This new red and white pavilion, it was created to match all the other structures here. Plus, our Building and Grounds maintenance building, which looks like a part of the farm, but technically isn't. It really enables, all of this enables the staff to kind of double the capacity for what they were able to do before.
Yeah, you know, we want to stick with the farm motif here, you know. With the playground equipment, we went with the green and yellow, kind of the John Deere traditional tractor colors and stuff, just to kind of break up the red and white a little bit, you know, and so by adding this, it allows us to put stuff in here, you know, we can do like little classes in here as well to kind of teach the kids, you know, for the field trips. As you can see, we got things on the walls here that kind of talk about the animals. We got the benches set up and stuff. So, you know, it serves, you know, multi-purposes here as well. So
the playscape not only fits the farm motif, but also offers, you guys developed an artificial surface underneath it. That's got to be popular now because filling that with whatever they filled it with before, you know, susceptible to water, all that stuff.
You know, it's something I'm big on. I like that artificial surface. It's, I mean, it's literally like walking on a cloud. You know, if a kid does fall, it's definitely soft. Any parks we're kind of looking at, you know, big parks we're kind of doing that. The mulch is sufficient, you know, but it kind of needs a lot of upkeep. I can tell you with Lang Park, that was something that I was very, you know, they were talking about pathways. We want to make it accessible for all, you know, so they were talking about paths, and I said, you know, I don't want like the artificial mulch, then pathways and stuff. You know, if we had kids in wheelchairs, it could cause an issue if they went off the path or something. I wanted it all, you know, and but it does cost a little more, you know, so we always have to keep that in mind, but we were able to do that. That was something we really wanted to do, and that's what we were able to do here as well. So, well, as you can see, it's very popular.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt. You know, this petting farm upgrade was just one of many that have been done in the past 3.5 years that you've been mayor. Let me just throw some of them at you, and let's start here in the park, okay? Heritage Hall. What was your thought process? What was the thought process but behind upgrading that? Because it used to just be an activities building that was kind of like a warehousing unit. What was your take?
Well, Carl, something we have to look at, there's rising costs all the time. So we have to look at ways to bring in revenue into the city to keep a lot of these things going. Just like the petting farm. It costs money to feed these animals and keep these lights on and all that. So we're always looking at ways to try to bring revenue. And then with the activity building, which is now Heritage Hall, a lot of times it was just used as storage a little bit. We housed a lot of things. Santa's Magic Forest was there, for a month or two out of the year. The Little League World Series used it to feed the kids, 2 weeks out of the year. And a lot of times it was just dead space, and a lot of times it was just a storage facility. Guido came up with the idea, like, hey, I always thought this would be a great idea to have a hall here, being that the church is right within 100 yards of it, not even. We could try, so we got some grant money, and we were able to convert that into a hall, which has been extremely popular. We had our mother-son dance, father-daughter dance, daddy-daughter dance there, just to showcase it. And just by doing that, we started really booking it. So many more bookings that first year that we didn't even anticipate, because it would take a while for things to, for people to start booking for weddings and everything like that. So the first year we booked so many that we didn't even anticipate, which was a good thing, So it's been very popular. The thing on it right now is getting signs on the building, because it is sometimes everybody doesn't understand, necessarily where it's located. So that's in the process right now of getting some signs on that building, because, it's now being officially called Heritage Hall as opposed to the activity building.
One of your favorite things that you did right out of the chute was LED lighting of the trails in Heritage Park. That has gone over tremendously with park visitors. You're really proud of that.
I am. It was one thing that I noticed when we, being a lifelong, fan of the Junior League World Series, once everything kind of finished up over there and the lights kind of started getting shut down, it was pitch black back there, to where you sometimes couldn't even see your hand in front of your face. And so it was just something that I always thought was needed, even when I was on city council. So when I became mayor, it was something that I really wanted to look at. Me and Guido sat down and came up with a game plan, and we were able to get that done. And not only that, it makes a lot of the walkers that now because you got a lot of people that work different shifts, and we got people that can walk safely throughout the night now. Or the park closes at, I think it's 10 or 11. Yeah. And so, and then it allows us, when we patrol, we're able to see, throughout the park a little better as well. But I am definitely proud of that. And I think that's very popular amongst the people. That's probably one of the biggest compliments I get.
Now, one thing that may go right by some people because they may not notice these things, but critical infrastructure improvements in the historical buildings around Cone Lake and in that area in general, extremely important. You've constantly, even during your time on council, been adding, we added a new gazebo, we added new rooftops. We're constantly reinventing those buildings that are really, really old. You're spending a lot of money there.
Yeah, we have to. We rent them out, but, a lot of them are pretty old houses. And, I think Maggie's Sweet Shop is the next one to get quite a bit of work done. The train cars was a lot of, that was a process.
Oh, yeah.
We almost couldn't find anybody to do it, and then luckily when we did, we actually found somebody that knew all the history of them, and we could bring, we just brought them in to help us, do it accurately, and so that was a great thing that happened and stuff. But yeah, we want to take care of these buildings. They're a main part of Heritage Park, and we want to keep them lasting and stuff. So we do, we want to take care of them as well. So each year we try to budget. Luckily, the Historical Commission was able to receive a grant, so they're gonna. I know they were gonna bid out, or they're gonna do the chinking on the old log cabin and stuff. So It's been a pretty good process.
Been a nice cooperative effort.
Yeah.
Community usually does support Heritage Park. I know when the Heritage Park Cleanup Day, for instance, a total volunteer effort started more than a decade ago.
Yeah.
You had 270 people here. All volunteers from Allen Park, from Gibraltar, places like that.
Yeah.
So that's really kind of cool.
Yeah.
One thing that's coming that maybe a lot of people don't realize because it just was announced is going to add pickleball courts to Heritage Park.
Yeah, we just we got approval for that from council, so we're going to add 3 pickleball courts with all the type of cement that's regulated by Pickleball USA or whatever. I don't know all the lingo and stuff, but it's going to be fenced in, it's going to be lighted and stuff. So we're going to do it right, and we're going to try to add a little more parking over there. It's going to kind of go in the area of where the old sand volleyball courts used to be and stuff. So, Heritage Park needs a little more parking. We're looking at as well, but we don't want to. But I'm tired of seeing people parking on the grass all the time. It's something that's a pet peeve of mine, and people just, I'm not going to go into that too much. People want to park and watch their kids play and stuff, but it doesn't work that way. It's not supposed to anyway. And so we are going to add some parking over by there as well and stuff. But yeah, that's going to be a nice addition. It's probably the most requested thing I get right now of what people would like to see. Pickleball court is very, very popular right now.
Well, that's fantastic. The Heritage Park and the Petting Farm are just a small portion of the improvements that the city is making throughout the community. Let me toss a couple of big ones that are happening as we speak. One is Lang Park.
Okay.
Tell us about your vision of Lang Park.
So Lang Park is actually, I just went over there last week. It's about 75% done. The sled hill was kind of being created while we were over there. They were finishing up most of the walking paths. The bridge over to the island, over the kind of the pond there is in. So they're still cleaning out some of the spindles left from the paintball. I think they're going to start pouring the skate park and the pump track here within the next week or two. Hopefully winter doesn't come too quick, So this weather's got me a little nervous, but it's really coming together. They got the parking lot poured for the dog park area already and stuff. So it's really coming together. It's going to be incredible. It's going to have the walking paths, the mountain bike paths. It's going to have the pump track for BMX. It's going to have the skate park. But then, BMX bikes can get in there and do they kind of swap out. There's they take turns and stuff like that and stuff. So, and then the disc golf, and then the sled hill. There's other things that I'm probably not even thinking about.
Dog.
Yeah, the dog park.
Park.
So I think the fencing's going to be going in here. I know they had taken all the old fencing down, so I think that was going in possibly this week. The park is up. The playscape with the that same type of flooring that's here is going to be there. That's all in already. It's absolutely incredible. So it's going to be really, really nice. It's really looking great. Actually, the county came over. We did a walkthrough because they kind of wanted to see the progress.
Yeah, because you're in a partnership with them here.
Yes, and they were floored. They were really excited, and I think the next time they come, County Executive Warren Evans is going to come over and take a look and stuff. And last time I seen him, I told him, you really need to come see the progress of this and stuff. So, and the cool thing is, you guys have all been kind of taking pictures as so we're going to be able to show the entire process of it. And I think the residents of the city of Taylor are going to be very proud of this. And I'm very proud of it too, because the way we threw this together in I think we had 10 days to kind of throw it together, change up what the initial, 6 or 7 soccer fields was the initial, and then, I wasn't big on that. It didn't make sense to me, and so we went to the county and said, hey, can we change this? And they said, you got 10 days. And me, Guido, and Dan Bazzuro sat down and really started hammering out some things. And when we pitched it to them, they absolutely loved the idea. And they gave us half the amount of money.
And now it's going to be more of an extreme park. And for people who don't know, Lang Park was an active park at one time that was more almost like an amusement
amusement
park,
from,
park.
you know, back in the 80s. And
Right.
it's crazy, Carl, because I never went. To be honest with you, I didn't even really know about it.
Yeah.
You know, growing up back then and
Sure.
stuff. So I wasn't even aware of that until
Right.
later on. And then when I started coaching at Taylor Northwest, they had just moved. You know, we used to do a haunted house.
Sure.
In the fall and stuff, and a hayride. They used to do it over there when it was closed in the fall and stuff, and they had just moved it back over to the ballpark when I started coaching and
Right.
stuff. So I wasn't even that familiar with Lang Park as a kid. You know.
Yeah, and Lang is located on Lang Road, just north of Eureka,
Yeah.
essentially behind
Yep.
the Pendleton
Yep.
Center
Yep.
for Blind
Yep.
Children.
Between
So
Northline and Eureka.
yeah, so
Southline
it's going to
Road.
be an extreme park that isn't going to be a ball field
Yeah.
or a
No.
soccer field
Yeah,
or something.
it's going to be, you know, like we have baseball fields, we have football fields, we have basketball hoops and stuff. So, you know, we just wanted to give, you know, an alternative for somebody else to do something else. And I think everybody's going to have the opportunity. I mean, you can fish there, you know, and stuff. So we even talked at some point maybe getting some pedal boats or some, you know, kayaks out there and stuff. So we're going to gradually see how things go. And, you know, we're going to really, you know, if people really enjoy that park, I think it's really going to be a kind of like Heritage Park because it's literally, you're going in the woods. You really feel like you're almost at a campground over there. There's not going to be any camping, so but you almost feel like you're a little bit up north because you're kind of in the woods there. And we kept that. You know, we did
Right.
clear out stuff, but you still have that feel back there.
That plot of land is not quite as big as Heritage Park, correct? Or
no,
is
it's,
it?
No, it's
you know?
20. It's almost 30 acres. I
Okay,
believe, yeah.
all right, and Heritage Park
And
much
Heritage
bigger.
Park,
Yeah.
I think, is a couple hundred maybe.
Yeah, exactly. So, but this is going to be an interesting thing. And the other interesting thing that's going on is the essentially doubling in size of the Taylor Animal Shelter, which is going to be. We're going to have a grand opening in a week to 10 days here. You got to be proud of that.
Very proud of it. You know, that was something that we sat down and realized, you know, this is not raising anybody's taxes. You know, we have Act 179 that we, you know, our compost and our animal shelter, that's what that tax is for. And that money, you know, the building was getting really old and it needed a lot of work. And when we were looking at it, we looked at the funds that was in there and we said, hey, this building needs a complete overhaul. And when we do that, I think it was Ralph, our DPW director, kind of said, hey, this building's in much worse shape than we thought, you know. And so that's when the whole talk started going. So Ralph kind of led that conversation, and you know, Dan started crunching the numbers, and you know, and that's when we kind of went with the two-phase. Hey, let's build a new side, and then let's move everything over there, and then totally redo the existing.
Right.
So I've been in the new part. It was still kind of probably 95% done.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things, you know, and then I haven't been in the new old part yet. So I'm waiting for the grand opening to kind of see it all, you know, brand new and stuff. And then there's a few things in there that it's going to be, I think, pretty cool. And
As we move past the things that we talked about, especially these last two, which are still evolving, you got anything you want to share with us that's going to happen in the near future?
you know, I don't think I really do at this point. I mean, you know, there's some other things we're talking about, you know, it's not that, you know, ooh-ah thing, but our compost site needs a new overhaul. That building, you know, that was the original animal shelter back in the day.
Right, it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
That was back in the 70s. That was our dog pound, basically, and stuff. So that building is getting really old and weathered and stuff. So that's something we're looking at. That's a TIFA Act 179 combination, kind of like what we did with our dog pound, you know. So you know, we got to check our funds and everything, or see how much money we got there or whatever. So we're kind of kind of looking at a few things, but nothing to really announce right now at this point, you know. So.
Well, you've done plenty, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm very happy with the team and everybody, and Karl, this is where, you know, having a great team around me is definitely, you know, a lot of times people will come up and say, hey, you know, this is getting to the point where we need to really start taking a look at it. You know, that's what teamwork's all about, you know, and then, okay, you know, going and looking at it and saying, yeah, we need to dive into this. And so, you know, and then you got to prioritize as well. You know, we only have this much money, or this money is only for this. And so that has a lot to do with it as well. A lot of people don't, you know, understand that. Like when we posted about this, you know, it was a $400,000 grant specifically for this.
Yes, exactly.
You know, well, why didn't you use that money for this? Or why didn't you? It was specifically for this.
Right.
And believe me, when we get free money, it's free money, you know, from the, you know, hey, we're going to take it, we're going to spend it, and we're going to use it for something that we need.
And without a doubt, I think we've spent wisely.
I do too.
Yeah, you know, when it comes right down to it.
Yeah.
And I think people from not only Taylor, but from across the downriver area especially, I think they respect the fact that when they go to Taylor, they see some new things. They see really active activities and events. This is just one part of it, and it lures tens of thousands of people a year.
Well, not only the great thing about it is we accomplished our goal, being able to store things in here, but then also we found a way to kind of create a little revenue in the process.
Sure.
So that's a win-win.
Bingo.
You know,
exactly.
and when, you know, we talk to other people from surrounding areas, you know, their kids come to here on a field trip, you know, and stuff, and people love this place, and people want to, you know, hey, I've been to the petting farm and love that place, and, you know, there's regulars that come here all the time, you know. We just talked to Jim, you know, the kids love him. He works here, and you know, he's here. He's the bright and early guy, you know, and he gets here and feeds the animals and stuff, and you know, and it's kind of cool. You know, coming in here, the chickens were walking around, the ducks were quacking, you know, and stuff. So it is kind of a cool place. You know, I enjoy it when I get over here. I don't get over here as much as I'd like, but it is kind of cool walking in here and seeing everything.
Well, I'll tell you, next year maybe we do your birthday party here.
Yeah.
What do you
we'll
think?
have a party, yeah. You know, so.
Well, Mayor, thank you. Thank you for
Absolutely,
joining us on Destination
it's nice
Down.
to get over here and on the scene, so to speak. You know,
Always.
Yeah.
Always.
Yep.
All right. All right, that brings to an end our trip to the Heritage Park Petting Farm, along with glimpses through Mayor Tim Wooley's eyes of all the improvements that the city of Taylor is doing to its infrastructure. It's truly one of the gems. This petting farm is truly one of the gems of Heritage Park, the city of Taylor, and for that matter, the downriver region. The petting farm is open during warm weather months on Tuesdays through Sundays from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. From November until April, it's open on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Interested parties seeking more information can contact the farm by calling 734-374-5946. Thanks to Mayor Tim Wooley of the City of Taylor for filling us in on all the good investments the community is making in facilities and infrastructure, along with Allison Estorino for taking us on a tour through the farm. For Joe Camilleri and Kaylee Guffey, behind the scenes, I'm Karl Ziomek, signing off until we join you on next month's Destination Downriver.
Thank you to our team sponsor, Allegra, Marketing, Print, and Design.
With a special thanks to our production partners here at the new Taylor Media Center. Thanks for listening and watching. Please visit our website, destinationdownriver.com, or our Facebook page, and be sure to join us for next month's podcast.